Alright everybody, you guys all know what this is. Para 3 lightweight CTS-BD1N. This is a loaner from Ken Galliher. I'm going to do edge retention testing on it. I do have to point out, I don't know how easy it's going to be able to see, where the bevel gets thin right here under the logo, where it's thinner than the rest. That is because there is a dip in the primary grind. It's actually a couple thousandths thicker right here, and it runs from spine to all the way down to the secondary bevel. Pretty much the only thing I can find wrong with it. It is off center just a hair. The action's really good though. Has just the tiniest little bit of blade play. Not my knife, I'm not going to adjust it or anything. I am, however, going to do edge retention testing with it. It has been sharpened, same as always. Strop the same as always. And I'm going to go ahead and do regular tests like always. Then validate it. Same as I always do. Curious to see what BD1N does. I really like BD1 myself. I have a few knives in it. One of them is going to be, you'll see in the upcoming strop project video. I've been stropping a Mannix and BD1 for about a year and a half. And I just don't let the apex get away from me, and the edge keeps coming back. When I got this from Ken, he had already used the factory edge. So I cleaned up the blade, I stropped it, and it, just like BD1, I mean, it came back amazing. Shaved hair, no problem. Didn't have any spots on the blade that weren't sharp. Like I said, I don't know how much he used it, so I did do some prep with it, and the opening, you know, the prep results weren't great. I taped off a 1-inch section just to see what the already used factory edge would do, and you know, it didn't look promising. So I sharpened it, and I did a little more prep with it, and on the second edge and third edge, you'll see those will be the results you're going to hear about after we watch the cutting that you're about to watch now. So let's go ahead and get the cutting out of the way. For whatever reason, the validation run, it stopped after the fine edge portion for the validation run. My video cut off. I don't know what happened. I don't have it. If anybody wants to see the validation fine edge portion, I'll be glad to post it later on. It was within 2%, so I know we're good there. But let's go ahead and get to cutting, and then we'll come back and talk about how it did. CTS-BD1N. All right, now that we went ahead and did the edge retention testing, it's a couple days later. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up, let you guys know how it did, and then I'll be able to get this video posted for you guys. So, how did BD1N do? The second edge that I put on it, like I said, same as always, finished to 1500 grit, stropped the same way, same edge angle, all that good stuff. For fine edge, it did 110.6 feet, which is really good. And unless I'm remembering wrong, someone else I know that I'm sure you all watch, he also did fine edge for BD1N, and it also backs up what I got for fine edge. For working edge, I got 163.3 feet, which is awesome. That puts this solidly in between Spyderco S30V and Benchmade S30V. So for $91, you're getting something that performs. So as always, I like to validate everything. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it. I've done car stuff for over 25 years, and drag racing, you always have to validate a run in order for it to count. So that's why I validate everything. On the third edge, for fine edge, I got 113.3 feet, which puts me less than 2% away from the first run. For working edge, I got 166 feet. You know, I'm not going to test it anymore. Would it have possibly gone up maybe a couple feet? I really can't say either way. You know, I mean, I could sharpen it again, and it could do a little worse than it did the first time. Who knows? I do, however, I have worked a trade for one because I want to further test BD1N. Like I said, I really like BD1, so I really want to get one and really put it to work, my own knife, so I'm not using up someone else's. The results backed up. BD1N is solid. I am going to run regular BD1. I have not done it in the format that I started testing in about 7 or 8 months ago. So I'm not positive exactly where it falls. I have a pretty good idea, but I want to see if fine and working edge are about how far off that I think they are from this one. So solid steel, nothing to worry about. And I will add, this sharpens so easy, just like regular BD1. From the factory edge, when I put the first edge on it to prep it, I started at 1500 grit just to see what it would do, and within just a couple minutes, 1500 grit, completely cleaned up the factory bevel, put a nice edge on it, and that's what I prepped with before I put the second edge on and tested it. So if you're worried about sharpening it, you got nothing to worry about. If you can sharpen HCR 13, you can sharpen this right here. Super easy to sharpen. Strops back awesome too. Like I said, don't let your apex get away from you. Each time I tested it, I went back and stropped it to see how well it would come back. It comes back, you know, came back to shaving hair. Took whatever portion of the 1-inch section I was using that caught paper, that completely came out, stropping it on 1 micron. So it's all good. I look forward to getting mine in a few weeks, month, however long it takes. It has a couple stops to make before it gets to me, and I will update it. We'll take a deeper look at it, see what it'll do. Right now, though, definitely a solid performer. If you're on the fence about buying one, you have nothing to worry about. Easy to sharpen. Expect S30V-ish performance. And once I do get mine, I will send it to Kurt and get it Rockwell tested to see how well that fits in with regular BD1 and how it holds an edge tail. That's all I have. As always, I appreciate your time, and thanks for watching.